Please turn to page 14 of the Sutra book. 6th line from the bottom of the text. 6th line from the end of the text. Let's recite a section of the scripture together. Fazang respectfully said, "This seems to be a grand undertaking, beyond my capacity. I only hope the Tathagata will confirm and acknowledge this, widely bestowing blessings, boundless and wonderful. If I am able to hear and give rise to such aspirations, contemplate and practice them, all my wishes will be fulfilled." Let's start from this section. Earlier, as we have seen, Bodhisattva Fazang, who was a devoted Buddhist practitioner, approached his teacher with a respectful request for guidance. In other words, Fazang sought advice from his mentor, demonstrating his humility and eagerness to learn. This act of seeking counsel from a teacher is a significant step in the process of spiritual growth and understanding. The teacher gave an excellent and thoughtful answer. He first encouraged him by using a creative and inspiring metaphor, which helped to make his point clear and motivating. As long as a person sincerely and wholeheartedly seeks the way and can persevere with steadfast determination, without ever giving up, even when faced with difficulties, they will definitely achieve the success they seek. This is exactly what is often emphasized in Buddhism as a requirement for all who enter the Buddhist path. Here, the noble aspirations that Bodhisattva Fazang earnestly sought and pursued during the important causal stage of his spiritual development are extremely rare and exceptional, and they are truly worthy of our deepest and most heartfelt admiration. He not only sincerely aspired to become a Buddha, but also truly wished, from the depths of his heart, for his own achievements to ultimately surpass those of all other Buddhas in existence. This deeply sincere and truly great vow received his teacher's warm and heartfelt praise. The teacher instructed him, saying that for this particular matter, you need to reflect on it yourself, on your own, and carefully consider, with mindfulness, what skillful means or methods you should practice in order to achieve success and ultimately fulfill your vow. We need to understand this point. Fazang lived in the household of King Hui in this world for a very long time, not just a short while. He was often in close contact and received a great deal of guidance. What's more, he was a person of superior capacity and firm resolve. That's why the Buddha said this: you should think for yourself, what method will you use? In other words, it means you don't need me.
Convo.
Stop teaching. Told him practice alone. It's also said, when it comes to cultivation, you should know for yourself. So, how do you practice? You're clear now, you understand too. In the end, he said that being close to the Buddha's land was his wish, and he explained the reason himself. The Buddha answered truthfully about the world, responding right at the point of the question. These three words here carry a truly very deep meaning. It's no different from the swift wind in Chen Buddhism. It's a direct pointing to the mind itself. So, a great Buddha like this is indeed, truly, and genuinely the noble practice and realization of Dhammakara. He understands, he's clear about it. But for people of average or lower capacity, after hearing this, they still, for some reason, don't get the point. Here, what Dhammakara did is what we now call a teaching by seizing the opportunity. In other words, he recognized the right moment to share his insight and truly made the most of that chance. For the sake of all sentient beings throughout the vast emptiness and the entire Dharma realm, he made a sincere request to the Buddha, the compassionate king of freedom in the world. Just think about it, everyone. How extraordinary is this karmic connection? So even though he understood, he very deliberately pretended not to, just like he was putting on a play, acting as if he didn't know. When Dhammakara became a Buddha, he became Amitabha Buddha of the Western Pure Land. Amitabha's great vows are truly unique. His great vows, in today's terms, are, in essence, about multiculturalism. A vibrant, shared life community. What's the term for this in Buddhist teachings? All 5 types of sense objects enter the reward land together. This is what we call multiculturalism. The 5 types of beings, humans, devas, shravakas, pratyekabuddhas, and bodhisattvas, aren't all the same kind, you know. Within these groups, the dispositions and abilities of sentient beings vary enormously. So how can you teach all these different beings? This is what we often say, from the highest, the equal enlightenment bodhisattvas, down to beings in the hell realms. Sentient beings in 9 Dharma realms. The same as the real, and so very solemn place of all Buddhas and Tathagatas. As for this matter, it's not that all the Buddhas and Tathagatas couldn't do it, but rather that they never thought of it, never even considered it. Buddhas have the ability to do it, but it just never crossed their minds. It's remarkable that Amitabha Buddha thought of it. Well, with this idea and this approach, of course, if you have the idea and put it into practice, you'll achieve results. This remarkable achievement, today's Western Pure Land, this world truly and completely encompasses all of the many Buddha lands that guide, support, and transform sentient beings. Of course, this sort of thing isn't something that a bodhisattva's own wisdom, on its own, can easily fully comprehend or grasp. Therefore, Dharmazang said here, this is the answer, the Tathagata, the King of Freedom. Fourfold, vast and profound, This fourfolder refers to what was mentioned earlier: contemplating with wisdom, knowing with wisdom, and learning like a son of sound in these 3 points. This meaning is too deep. So, where do these 3 points ultimately lead? They all come back to Amitabha Buddha's original vows. He aims to surpass all Buddhas and Buddha lands in every way through his dedicated efforts. It all hinges on these 3 points. The ancient masters, known for their wisdom and insight, also said Dhammakara's teachings have been carefully preserved and passed down from generation to generation since ancient times. This is what we now refer to as the Taoist merciful voyage. In other words, it means that Dhammakara became a Buddha countless eons ago, in the distant past. This is a demonstration, and, in particular, we truly are in full agreement with this perspective. Shakyamuni Buddha, who is also known as the historical Buddha, made his appearance in our world approximately 3,000 years ago. This significant event took place in the region that is now known as ancient India, marking a pivotal moment in. He wasn't actually an ordinary person who practiced and became a Buddha either. It was also a demonstration. In the Brahmanet Sutra, he explicitly and clearly told us that this was, in fact, his 8,000th time performing this particular role. Amitabha Buddha demonstrates and performs this role in the land of ultimate bliss, but just how many times has he done it? The Buddha hasn't told us. We can imagine it's probably quite a few times. So, this is the state of the Tathagata from the ancient past. Of course, bodhisattvas, in fact, don't know this, so it's called not within my realm. There's actually a very deep and truly significant meaning contained within this. Bodhisattvas truly can't fully comprehend the Buddha state. This is real, not just talk. Bodhisattvas cannot attain it unless empowered by the original vows and divine support of all Buddhas. They also have no way to truly and fully explain the Buddha's state to everyone. However, if you truly set your mind on cultivation and genuinely aspire to spread the Dharma, you will definitely receive the Buddha's blessing and support. You're sure to receive it. Of course, we should also follow the example of the great patriarchs and virtuous masters. To do so, pray for the Buddha's blessing. The Dharma Master comes up to the stage to give his sermon. Beforehand, they have to stand below and bow to the Buddha 3 times. These 3 bows are to ask for the blessing of the triple gem. Otherwise, I will be speechless when I get on stage. We haven't seen the great virtuous masters of the past give sermons on stage, but we've truly seen and appreciated many of the various works written by those legendary great masters. If you look at their works, as soon as you open to the first page, there's always a verse asking for the Buddha's blessing. Right from the start, they are praying for the Buddha's blessing. Ask for Buddha's blessing before next life, no exception for performing. Everyone seeks the Buddha blessing. So, this line carries a much deeper meaning. It contains a sincere request for the Buddha's power and blessing. That's why it goes on to say, "May the Tathagata bear witness and know," indeed, referring to the Buddha. Worthy of offerings and realization, these are known. These are the 10 truths of compassion of the Buddha, 3 of which are mentioned here. These 3 are, without a doubt, representative of the complete set. If you were to write out all 10 titles here, it'd be too much, too cumbersome, so just mentioning these 3 names reminds us of the full set and completeness. This is praise for the Buddha. Among the 4 great vows, praising the Tathagata, the 4 perfections are a form of praise. So, the Tathagata's wisdom, virtue, and compassion are all included within this as a whole. The next line is a request, asking the Buddha to speak extensively, to bless us, and to offer boundless, marvelous insight. Yang means speak. He doesn't use the words of broad tongue or broad proclamation, not those terms, but instead uses of broad speech. Yang is richer in meaning than just so to speak. Yang still has to perform. It's not just about saying it, but also showing us through actions. The Buddha is extremely compassionate at home, fulfilling his vows. For him, he pardons throughout the entire Dharma realm and space, across countless, boundless Buddha lands. Within all of this are found the essential nature, the fundamental characteristics of phenomena, the clear distinctions between what is right and what is wrong, what is good and what is bad, as well as the various different karmic results of both suffering and happiness. From this, we can see just how truly rich, diverse, and varied the content of Buddha's study is, covering a wide array of teachings and practices that offer insight and understanding. If the content in question is truly authentic, sincere, and aligns with the core teachings and principles of Buddhism, then it is certain that the Buddha himself will, without any hesitation, introduce or present such content to others, ensuring that it's firstly, in a Buddha's land, the people are happy, families are harmonious, society is stable and peaceful, The nation is prosperous and virtuous, and the world is at peace. Everything is wonderfully close at hand. This is, in essence, truly the aim of Buddhist teaching as a whole. In fact, this is precisely what Dharmakara aspired to hear. The world freely King Tathagata patiently and thoroughly explained the matter in detail to him, ensuring that he fully understood everything that was being conveyed. At this point, we really need to pause for a moment to truly and fully understand. How did the world, with all its complexity and diversity, and the vast Dharma realm, which encompasses everything, come about? What exactly is going on here, in this existence we all share? This is a major question, one that invites deep thought and reflection. A profound inquiry. Only a Tathagata, one who has attained complete enlightenment, can truly comprehend it in its entirety. Even bodhisattvas, who are advanced on the path, do not possess this knowledge or understanding. The world-honored one appeared in this world. As is well known, it's explicitly and clearly stated in the Lotus Sutra, as it is written, the Buddha appears in the world for one great cause. What is this great cause? Some say it's the truly great and profoundly significant matter of birth and death, and that's certainly not inaccurate. But the meaning of birth and death is very profound. The birth and death we experience now isn't really the big issue. So, what is the major issue within the 6 realms of reincarnation? In Buddhism, the concept of birth and death is much broader and deeper. There's segmented birth and death, and there's transformational birth and death. It's all quite complicated. To get everything completely clear in our minds and to truly and deeply understand the meaning behind it all, we need to rely on the Buddha's wise and compassionate guidance. So once again, we must ask ourselves, where did the vast and boundless Dharma realm, as well as the infinite expanse of space itself, truly originate from? This question is not a simple one, nor is it something that can be easily answered. In fact, it is an even more profound and significant matter than the already deeply puzzling. If we can get this clear, truly understand it, and really grasp its meaning, then of course the great matter of birth and death will also, naturally, be resolved. The Buddha told us that its fundamental origin, as he explained, is a single thought of our true nature. If we are in harmony with that single thought of our true nature, our thoughts align, our perspectives and views align, and our words, as well as our actions, align. Then the ultimate bliss and joy will fully manifest before us. The happiness of the people, the well-being and joy of individuals, harmonious families built on love and understanding, a harmonious society based on cooperation and respect, a prosperous nation that thrives in all aspects, and the world peace that we just mentioned, all of these goals can be realized. Everyone can live a truly happy and wonderful life every day. We be in alignment. Today, all of us are aware of the suffering and hardships we endure. Why do we suffer? Why do we face hardship? It's because our thoughts, words, and actions often go against our true nature, the genuine essence of who we really are deep inside. We've thought wrongly, seen things wrongly, spoken wrongly, and acted wrongly. These mistakes lead to confusion and delusion. Going against our true mind and nature is what we call being deluded. If we can't be in alignment, that's confusion. Because of this, we end up with all sorts of dissatisfaction in our lives, really. Why do these things happen? The Buddha explained it very clearly. The external circumstances change according to our inner state. Our thoughts and views are the primary cause. And what about our bodies and the environment we live in? Those are the secondary effects. The secondary effects change according to the primary cause. Why does Amida live in the Pure Land? Because every single thought he has and every action he takes is always in perfect harmony and complete alignment with his true, authentic nature. That's why that world is called the land of ultimate bliss. As for the sentient beings in our world today, you could say we're completely out of sync with our true nature. So our bodies aren't at ease and we suffer from illness and pain. There's birth, aging, sickness, and death. Our living environment isn't comfortable either. There's the suffering of unfulfilled desires, the pain of being separated from loved ones, and the misery of having to be with those we resent. Facing natural and man-made disasters. It's a real mess, to be honest. This is what Buddhism specifically refers to as being clouded by delusion, lost in misunderstanding. It's also what the Buddha said in the Sutras, all phenomena arise from the mind. We're caught up in deluded thoughts every day, not realizing just how much these thoughts affect us.